Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and then have a chat about what's good and bad about them. We're brought to you as ever by Contagious.com, so please go and check those guys out. But before we get to this week's ad, let's meet this week's guests.
Hey, I'm Hamish Goulding, Head of Global Brand Strategy at HSBC.
Hi, I'm Laura Chase and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at WeAre8.
Hey, I'm David. I lead acquisition marketing for Tesco Mobile.
Hi, I'm Pete Markey. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Boots.
Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's see this week's ads.
¿Por qué pagar por una Whopper si la puedes robar? Esta vez hemos hackeado la app de Burger King. Solo tienes que bajártela y preparar tu móvil.
Money Heist. One of the most viewed series in Netflix history, about a gang that plans to rob the Royal Mint of Spain, becoming the heroes of their global audience. Burger King and Netflix teamed up so that everyone could join the gang and steal a Whopper using their smartphone. How did they do it? By using an NFC device that, upon connecting with the phone, signals to the server to make the burger disappear on the digital out-of-home and appear on the smartphone. People could see in real time how many Whoppers were left and where they were located, sparking people to want to steal them before they disappear. The Burger King app notified them when they were getting close to a stealable Whopper. They seeded the city with thousands of Whoppers, inviting people directly to hurry up and steal them before others had the chance. $49.5% increase in weekly downloads. 25.3% increase in mobile unit sales per store. People stole them all in 2 days, and no one got caught. Whopper Heist.
Okay, Pete, what was your reaction to that when you saw it?
It's a clever stunt as a mechanic, isn't it? It's the sort of thing that would be amazing for an award entry. It's sort of one of those kind of one-off moments in time where you tap into something that's culturally relevant and interesting and ride on the back of it. I think the technology and the mechanics were really clever. I guess I just left reflecting what it does for sort of long-term brand health for Burger King, how they build on a platform like that outside of it being a sort of a one-off clever moment. That being said, though, I thought that the idea was clever. I'm a big fan of tapping into cultural and relevant moments when you can with your brand.
I really love it. I think obviously they've done loads of great work over the years, and I love it when brands do different innovative things. And I do think consumers are going to enjoy that as well, because it brings together a great show and their brand and their product in a really nice, smart way. I think it's going to stop people. It's going to get their attention. They're going to engage in the game. They're going to potentially roam around the city trying to find more Whoppers. They're going to go in, they're going to get their Whopper. They're probably going to buy a bit more. Overall, really fun, really different. Great job, Burger King.
It is a really powerful idea, but it does feel very contained and very tight. If you're not going to whip out your phone at any given chance to engage in something and it surrounds you, who else can really sort of take part in it? And I think that's a bit of a challenge.
Do you think it actually worked in the way that it said it worked, David? What was your view?
My initial thought was how are people, beyond it being on out of home, screens around the city, how are people actually even aware of that they can go and do this? So yeah, to your point, making people aware that this is a thing that's going on at any given time, and then actually going to do it is very different to just being in the rough location and then getting a notification to say that you can do it. So I've got my doubts. It feels a lot more like the sizzle reel that we've seen was the end product rather than the actual activation itself, just to say, oh, we did this really cool thing, guys, and look how cool it was, rather than the actual activation and the participation in the activation itself.
So Pete, what would have made this better for you?
Whopper Heist felt like it didn't necessarily land. So I think there's definitely an integration problem with the content of the show. There could be involvement from the stars of the show, connected to content of the show. Is there a way for Burger King or burgers to turn up in the show? So it just felt that that sort of reason for being was missing a bit, because it's just sort of this loose connection with the word heist.
Laura, you're working for a new-ish platform. What is your view of this kind of work on your platform? Do you think this represents a future, or is this kind of digital stuntery that we were sort of familiar from sort of Domino's and the like 10 years ago? Does this feel like old school digital sensationalism, or will this always work as long as good ideas can get in front of people?
I think if something surprises a consumer, makes them stop, gives them something in return, which obviously this does, then there's a place for it. I think obviously, there would have been a lot of people in the city at that point in time that this would have given them something quite fun and interesting to do, and that would have had quite positive impact on their perceptions of Burger King. So I think there's always a place for this type of thing, and I think it helps drive the industry forward as well. We need people testing slightly different executions, slightly different ways of using more traditional formats, which is why I always like to, I think it's good to celebrate brands who are trying to use something in a slightly different way.
What can the industry really learn from this?
Trying to bring a new way, and actually a measurable way of using what would traditionally be a difficult channel to get that instant feedback from. I really like that. But I think in terms of scalability, it's lacking a little bit there. But I like the innovation, like the thinking of use of traditional formats for sure.
I'll start with the negatives and go to the positive. I think for me, there's something here as a learning about the power of needing to have a longer term brand platform. We've talked about McDonald's, the other great example is KFC. You can see how having a strong, sustained brand platform really helps you. And I think Burger King feel like they jump between ideas too much. I'm not sure they always take the consumer with them. It is stunt to stunt, and I don't know whether that always brings the audience with them in the right way. That being said, I think use of technology, the use of riding on something culturally relevant in a way that brings consumers in using digital technology and a bit of a treasure hunt approach, I really enjoyed. I really liked it. My challenge for Burger King and I guess the industry would be to think beyond the stunt alone in terms of how does this fit into the broader brand purpose, what we're trying to do, a bigger brand platform, and how we would sustain long-term growth and long-term differentiation, which I don't think a stunt alone is going to do. Might win you some lovely awards, but as we've seen the numbers, it's not going to help you alone with long-term growth.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, when you see a McDonald's voucher piece on the front cover of the Metro, and it's got distinctive assets all over it, it's 2 for £2 or whatever, I don't have to do anything. I can just rip it off and take it into McDonald's and get my value. So they're using kind of traditional media with value for customer and then providing a sort of distinctive brand play and fairly cheap media. And this is you've got to work quite hard to get the benefit of this. And I think we all applaud it for the right reasons of using innovation and tech and all that sort of stuff. But if you compare the two brands at the moment and the different scales of where they're at, a Metro cover voucher is probably a lot cheaper than building this tech platform, getting people to use it within their app, expecting all those barriers to entry, the NFC issue, as you say. So I think sometimes sort of the oldies are goodies, and it's just about finding that kind of balance and that mix, and maybe Burger King getting a bit distracted by what's new and exciting, and maybe McDonald's, for example, just know what works. And they're just sort of pounding the channel in that sense. I really applaud where they've tried to use tech, use interesting blending of physical and digital channels, associations and partnerships, building audience tribes, all that sort of stuff. Fantastic job. And the big test for me is, would I buy it? And I thought probably would. I feel I probably would, as long as it tied into that brand narrative piece for the long term. I think I'd probably take a punt on this. And we did look at something similar on airports recently until lockdown, but it's just back to that whole consumer behavior. COVID equals QR codes, and it's opened up that whole sort of opportunity around that. What will be the catalyst for NFC? I'm not sure yet, but it will come. You've got to applaud them for trying to create that behavior.
Well, look, unfortunately, we are running out of time for recording. So what I'm going to do is ask you all to vote for how good you thought this was. 3, 2, 1. A 3, a 3, a 4, and a 3. Well, what's that between a 3?
That's a 3.5.
You can bend my finger.
Thank you so much. And we will see you all next week.